Should I bring doctor bags or first aid kits? This is a pretty common question among both new players and veterans alike, and everybody seems to have a different opinion. Now, some of you might be thinking of the obvious solution, both. Well, yes, we'll get to that, but let's assume you're playing in a pub with people you don't know and aren't coordinating or even communicating with. Which deployable would be better to bring? First things first, what's the difference? Now, I'm sure most of you already know, but we'll go over it just in case. When fully upgraded, you get 2 doctor bags that have 4 charges each, totaling to 8 uses. Upon use, they will not only restore all your health, but reset the total amount of times you can be downed before you'll be in custody. 3 on most difficulties, or just 1 on 1 down. First aid kits only have 1 charge each, but you can carry a staggering 14 of them. You can also place and use them much faster than doctor bags. On top of this, assuming the person who places the first aid kit has the aced uppers skill, if you were about to go down within 5 meters of a first aid kit to anything other than a cloaker, the down will instead be prevented and all your health restored, consuming the first aid kit. While incredibly useful, this can only happen once every 20 seconds. And finally, unlike doctor bags, first aid kits will not restore any downs upon being used. It will only heal you. So, which one is better then? Well, that depends on a variety of things, from your skills, to what heist you're playing on, to what difficulty the heist is. Starting with skills, nowadays most players have some sort of way of regenerating health. There are perk decks dedicated to this, such as Muscle, Gambler, and Grinder, to name a few. There is also the Hostage Taker skill, which grants a player passive health regeneration as long as there's 1 hostage present, or if they have the converted Joker cop. But then again, sometimes a build doesn't cater to health regeneration. Anarchist and Rogue are both very frequently used perk decks, and sometimes you just don't have the skill points to get Hostage Taker. So this is where first aid kits come in handy. 14 charges of practically instant full health regeneration that can be used by the player or handed out to their teammates to save their lives. You can also lay out a bunch of them in an area your crew is going to hold out in to automatically prevent players from getting downed. Or alternatively, in more mobile heists, you can just keep them in your inventory and only deploy them when you or a teammate needs them. Doctor bags aren't as good about this, as while there are still 8 uses, there are only 2 physical deployables. Once it's down, it cannot be moved, so you have to return to the doctor bag's location to get more use out of it. However, while 14 first aid kits is a lot, it's not infinite. Eventually you'll run out of them, especially if you hand them out like cupcakes. On longer heists such as Cook-Off, this can become a problem. Although you might be thinking, doctor bags have even less uses, how is that any better? Well, look at it like this. Let's assume you have a method of passive health regeneration. Ideally, you'll keep your health topped off as long as possible, and if it starts to get low, you'll just bunker down until your health regenerates back up to full. Even with proactive health regeneration such as Grinder, you can still just hide until you get a chance to sneak in some damage. So, if all goes well, you can keep your HP maxed out. However, this is Payday, so things usually don't go well. Chances are you'll find yourself downed eventually, whether it was by an unexpected sniper, a charging bulldozer, or a stray RPG. Sorry, you might just end up finding yourself black and white, i.e. your screen is graying out because you're on the brink of death, and the only way to prevent the next down from sending you straight to jail is to use a doctor bag. At this point, first aid kits aren't going to do you any good. They're designed to prevent exactly this from happening, but there's only so much that they can do. Eventually, you'll need a medic bag! The doctor wow, they call it medic bag in game, that's weird. Anyways, the healing bag will restore all your currently missing health, and all your downs, so you're good to go get yourself killed plenty of more times. And keep in mind, by the time you need to use a doctor bag, you should already be pretty far into the heist. Just to be clear, you don't always have to wait until you're black and white to use a doctor bag. Let's say you've been downed once or twice and are pretty low on HP, and you're about to leave the area you're holding up in and likely won't come back. In situations like that, it's okay to use a doctor bag. Just use a bit of situational awareness and you'll be fine. But anyways, generally speaking, if you have a reliable way of regenerating health without the use of deployables, then doctor bags would be the better thing to bring. But keep in mind, most heists have pre-planning or assets you can buy and will let you place doctor bags in the map by default. Also, if one player has already brought fully upgraded doctor bags, I should hope 8 charges would be enough for a fairly competent crew, at least on difficulties below 1 down. In this case, it may be better to bring first aid kits instead. Now that you've got both deployables, you can prevent players from being downed multiple times and stop them from going into custody if they do get downed. round. Now, we should talk about one down for a moment. In this difficulty, as the name implies, you can only be downed once before being black and white, although most players take the 9 lives skill, giving them an extra down to work with. On one down, it's very common to see teams bring 2 or even 3 players with fully upgraded doctor bags, as well as 1 or 2 players with fully upgraded first aid kits. Since enemies hit like Mack trucks, and you only get 1 or 2 lives before being in custody, preventing downs and preventing going into custody are both crucial. Therefore, bringing both of as many healing deployables as possible is absolutely mandatory, but that's a topic for another video. So, what have we learned? If you have a way of regenerating health, doctor bags are likely better. If you don't, and there are already doctor bags available, either through pre-planning or other players, first aid kits could be better. And if you have the chance, just coordinate with your team and bring both of them. Thanks for watching, and take it easy.